What's up, Meta Nerds? This video is all about the MC75 Cruiser commanded by Admiral Raddus, named the Profundity. The MC75 modified Star Cruiser was manufactured by the Mon Cala shipyards shortly after the end of the Clone Wars, and it is because of that conflict that it was built with some very interesting features. The separatist-aligned Quarren nearly conquered Mon Cala, and this bloody fighting taught the survivors that the machinations of dictators from some far-off place in space would eventually find its way to their underwater cities. So, Mon Cala engineers built many of their cities to double as enormous starships. The Profundity in particular was a civic governance tower in the city of Nystulum, which was located beneath the northern ice flows. Raddus was this city's mayor, now a fleet admiral with the rebellion, with much of the crew being his city's defense staff and the regular citizens. Already skeptical once Palpatine declared himself emperor, when Imperial ships arrived and started to subjugate the Mon Cala, Imperials were shocked to see a whole city skyline rising out of the ocean, and then disappeared through hyperspace. This Mon Cala diaspora during the Imperial era forced them to make many retrofits to make the MC75 a suitable warship for the growing Rebel Alliance. These engines were actually built by Kuat drive yards. It is unclear how this came to be, whether through corruption or theft, but this helped to give this massive city ship a top speed of 650 km per hour, or 404 miles per hour, enough to help it keep up with the escort ships and starfighters, though still slower than a TIE bomber and even the Imperial Star Destroyer. But it did have a Class 1 hyperdrive, faster than the ISD, and tied with the Venator and the X-Wing. It's 1,204.44 meters, or 3,952 foot length, is about a sandcrawler and a half longer than the Venator, or two of the Interdictor class cruisers used by the Old Republic era Sith Empire. At a height of 435.56 meters, or 3,951 feet, it was more than 4 Zillo Beasts tall, and nearly as tall as the Imperial class Star Destroyer. I know this seems off, like the MC75 is much taller, but these are the official stats, and to double check I just measured them myself, so it's a weird optical illusion, and what really helps is this picture from the Rogue One Visual Dictionary. Since this was also a city, I think it would also be cool to see how this would compare to buildings from Earth. It was about half the height of the Burj Khalifa, nearly equal to the Empire State Building, or about 4 Statues of Liberty. Now as for its armament and shielding, much of this was retrofitted via this large collar. If you look close, you can see that this slips right over the hull, adding both these upper and lower extensions, which are not a normal part of the Mon Calamari ship design. This dorsal tower contained the long-range communication devices, while the ventral tower holds the bridge, with the spine containing additional weapons and tech. This was an ordnance pod that would be able to protect the rear, while additional weaponry was located across the surface, making up 20-point defense laser cannons, 12 turbo laser cannons, 4 ion cannons, 12 proton torpedo launchers, and 6 tractor beam projectors. The rear was covered with these aft deflector shield emitter arrays, while the forward section was shielded by redundant, overlapping arrays behind this nose that was also covered in thick plate armor. In addition to this, it also had this enormous hangar bay, which could accommodate several ships, or even larger vessels like a Corvette. And to run something this size, it took a crew of 3,225, less than half that of the Venator, and about 1/10 the people on board an ISD. As for its history, after the Empire moved to subjugate the Mon Calamari, the Profundity, along with a fleet of other ships, evacuated, and quickly became allies with the growing Rebel Alliance. Under the command of Raddus, the Profundity was one of the first Mon Calamari ship designs to be converted to a warship, but it also specialized in sending and receiving broadcasts from across the galaxy. This simple upgrade would end up saving the rebellion, and strike the first real blow to the Empire, when the Profundity and Admiral Raddus led the assault on Scarif, assisting Rogue One in their mission to steal the Death Star plans. Jyn Erso only had a narrow window to beam out the signal, and luckily, the Profundity was perfectly positioned. Unluckily, however, Vader has amazing timing, arriving on the scene just as the Raddus was about to flee. After taking heavy fire from the Devastator, Vader was able to board this Mon Calamari ship, though the rebel troops are able to hold him off long enough to get the plans onto the docked CR-90 in its hangar bay, which was of course Princess Leia's Tantive 4. The Corvette was able to escape through hyperspace, but the Profundity, along with Admiral Raddus, were destroyed over Scarif, presumably by other Star Destroyers that arrived after the Devastator left, or even perhaps the super laser of the Death Star. As for the line of MC75s, at least 5 of these made up the Mon Calamari mercantile fleet, which mutinied in the year 1 ABY, hiding out at the Makota space docks. So that's it for its history, but you definitely want to hear these cool facts and behind the scenes stuff. This ship was heavily influenced by the concept art of the Invisible Hand, and you can see how it does look like a cross between the Providence-class and the MC80 Home 1 type star cruiser. And what's kinda neat is that the Providence-class was built by the Mon Calamari rivals, the Quarren. The production name for this ship was the Rebel Trawler, which is kinda funny, cause it's a ship built by and run by a bunch of fish, and a trawler is a type of fishing ship. Profundity means great depth of knowledge or deep insight, which might be another amazing play on words, since these ships actually come from deep underwater. So that's it for the MC75 and the Profundity. Make sure you check out the description down below so that you can find links on how to connect with us, help support the channel, and get your own copies of the reference material used in this video. But most important of all, remember, the fish folk make the best ships, and the Force will be with you, always.